feeling down, wanna come my way, gonna lift you up. Let me hear you say, yeah, we're living on love. Yeah, we're living, yeah, we're living on love. Yeah, we're living on love. Yeah, we're living, yeah, we're living on love. Oh, oh, we're gonna take you home. Oh, oh, we're gonna lift you up. Oh, oh, we're gonna take
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The meeting is now convened. It's 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March 31st. I would like to ask everyone to please silence their cell phones or any other electronic devices. My name is Pete Guerin, and I'll be presiding over this meeting until a board is present, until a president is formally elected later this evening. A quorum of the board is present in the boardroom in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. They are Courtney Lewis, Rosa Maria Verdeja, Tennessee Walker, Lori George, Luis Galindo, Jay Steele, and Bobby Adier. Frost Prelo is not in attendance this evening. We will start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and Texas flags. Please stand with me.
Present. Arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Right.
Let's switch a song and pretend it's how you want to read it.
Thank you. I want to thank the Dunbar ROTC, Junior ROTC, for presenting our colors tonight, and Kendall Northrup from Western Hills High School for singing a beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Thank you both, all these students. I'll now welcome Dr. Peter Licata for a special acknowledgement of our student artwork.
Good evening.
With our focus being on student achievement and them being the center of everything we do, we have presented artwork under each one of our nameplates from students from around the county. We will be continually doing that every board meeting. I'd like to recognize Diamond Hill, Jarvis High School, Harlan Bean Elementary School, I.M. Terrell Academy for STEM and VPA, Kirkpatrick Middle School, O.D. Wyatt High School, Riverside Middle School, and South Hills High School. Please put a round of applause for these students and these schools.
Our talented student artists reflect the level of excellence that we see throughout our school system, and we will prioritize on a daily basis in the Fort Worth ISD. At the April 14th meeting, we will formally recognize the students for their exceptional work. Dr. Licata, thank you. As the community is aware, the Texas Education Agency intervened in the Fort Worth Independent School District on March 24, 2026, by appointing a new board and superintendent. Through the transition, this new governance team is committed to focusing unrelentingly on improving student outcomes. We look forward to working with the newly appointed superintendent, Dr. Peter Licata, to give our students the tools they need for a successful future. Next item on the agenda is public comment. But before we turn to public comment, this board is new to everybody in this room. Some of you know some of us, and none of you knows all of us. So I'm going to ask each of our board members to just give you a 1-minute introduction, quick bio. And for me, my name is Pete Guerin. I'm a graduate of Arlington Heights High School. I believe that reading is a civil right. And in service on this board, my 3 priorities are going to be improving student outcomes, improving student outcomes, improving student outcomes. Thank you. Jay.
Hey, good evening. Jay Stegall. I am born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. Okay, this is home for me. I am simply serving to help every young mind throughout the district achieve their goals that they have throughout their life. And that's going to be done with a solid foundation in school, and we can do that through improving the student outcomes. I think through this work, I'm going to do nothing but pour into the very district that is poured into my entire family. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Laurie George. I am a former educator, current teaching fellow at an R1 research institute in North Texas, and more importantly, I am a parent to Fort Worth ISD students. Like many of you, I have children who have struggled at times with learning difficulties. I want to respect their privacy, so I won't say too much about them, but I will say that I know what it feels like when your child is struggling and you're not sure what to do, and they're not getting the support that they need. And then I've experienced that joy that comes from a child's needs being met, and when they come home and they've got it, and you see that progress, and it changes the trajectory of their life and just improves the entire family. And that's why I'm here, to make sure that every family and every child in this district has the opportunity to choose their own future because they have all the skills they need and nothing is holding them back.
My name is Tennessee Walker. I'm a proud product of public schools. My wife and I have 3 children in Fort Worth Public Schools. We're committed to the success of this district. Making and working for brighter futures for children is a passion of mine. I serve through our Big Brothers Big Sisters organization, and so when this opportunity to apply came up, it makes perfect sense. It's a time of transformational change for our ISD, and I dream of the day where every student in our district has access to a high-quality public education, and when we've achieved the student outcomes across the board that the students deserve.
Thank you, Tennessee.
Good evening. My name is Rosa Maria Verdeja, and I'm an immigration attorney here in town. And I chose to serve because I grew up in a home with 9 children. I was 6 out of 9, and out of 9 children, I'm the only one that graduated high school and later on moved on to higher education. I saw firsthand what an education can do for an individual, the opportunities that it presents, the doors that are open, and I want every child here in our school district to be presented with those same opportunities that I had, the same opportunities that my siblings didn't have. And that is why I am here tonight, and I will continue to show up for as long as it takes so that every child in Fort Worth ISD can succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. Start on the far right.
Good evening, all, and thank you for being here. My name is Bobby Adier. I'm honored to serve on the board. My parents came to the United States to secure educational opportunities that they could not receive otherwise, given their religious background. They secured those educational opportunities here in America, provided them in turn to myself and my sister, and in turn then to our children. I serve here on the board, and I'm excited to be here on the board to meet what I think of as our moral obligation as adults to provide every child in Fort Worth those similar educational opportunities. It's an imperative that I think is unavoidable and one that I think we all have to step up, parents, teachers, and every community member to serve. And so I'm pleased and honored to serve in that capacity. I want to apologize. I have a longstanding promise made to Tarrant County College students to come and speak to them later this evening, and so I will have to excuse myself a little bit early, so please, my apologies for that. But thank you for having me here on the board.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here. I'm Luis Galindo. I'm an attorney who has worked in our community for, well, almost 40 years. And part of what we've done together is come together like this to work on solutions. We are all have a role to play in finding a solution. Real change begins with each of us, and it will take all of us to secure our children's future. We need your help to build a winning team that we can all work together. There's no reason to give ground to fear or anger, distrust, or just general negative attitudes. That is not what we do. Together, we build, we support, and we move forward. That is who we are in Fort Worth. Quiero que quede claro, esto se trata de nuestros hijos y nuestra comunidad. Y es la razón por la cual estamos aquí esta tarde con ustedes. I want to be clear. This is about our children and their future, and that is why we're here this afternoon.
Good evening. I'm Courtney Lewis. I am the parent of a Fort Worth ISD graduate from Dunbar High School. She graduated in 2019. I am a finance professional. I've been a banker serving this community for almost 20 years. I'm a community leader. I've served on boards and generally tried to help where I could. I'm a first-generation college student. My mother did not finish high school. I was the first one in my family to go to college, and that started because I received a quality public education, and that allowed me to have those opportunities, and I greatly desire for every Fort Worth ISD student to have those same opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor to serve with every one of you. Our next agenda item is public comment. We're glad all of you are here tonight and look forward to hearing from each of you. Only individuals who signed up to speak will be able to address the board in accordance with board policy. We have, and I think the last count was 31 community members who have signed up to speak this evening, and I'm requesting that each speaker limit their remarks to 3 minutes. We ask that speakers refrain from naming individuals, especially students, because the identity of students is protected by law. You may, however, say the name of your own child if you wish. And I ask that you please respect the procedures that are in place and give an opportunity for everyone who's here tonight to be heard and to speak for those who are signed up. A couple of changes you'll see. It always bothered me when I was sitting on that side of the podium that the speakers were over there in the corner, and I've asked that they now be here in front so the speakers know that they have our full and undivided attention. And secondly, there used to be a rule that said if more than 20 people showed up, even if you came here thinking you're going to speak for 3 minutes, we cut it to 2. Well, our policy now is it's 3 minutes regardless of how many people are here tonight. And we welcome you for coming out. This is how our community comes together, and deeply appreciate every one of you being here. Our first speaker tonight is somebody that well known to the education community, Dr. Michael Ryan. Please come to the podium, and thank you for your years of service to our kids.
Well, good evening, President Guerin and members of the Board of Managers. I am Dr. Michael Ryan, a proud graduate of Pascal High School and a teacher and administrator with 49 years experience in public schools, not counting the 5 years I spent up there on the board. And I'm also the head of admissions for the United States Naval Academy for Northwest Texas. I'm here this evening to wish you well and hope everything goes great for you. I had 4 issues to discuss tonight, but Dr. Licato's already taken care of one, to note that the gains or losses this year belong to Karen Molinar and her crew, so I'm glad that it happened. But so what I want to do now is, if you really want to make gains in what the students are doing, please get rid of all the devices in elementary schools, okay? Just get rid of them. Research shows that devices limit student skills in reading, numeracy, and attention spans. I've got a doctorate in curriculum instruction and also instructional technology, and I will tell you I can validate all that research. It's really important to do that. Second, one of the hard things, but even the most rewarding thing, is listening to the people in the audience when they come up to talk to you, because they're speaking from their heart. Nearly everybody in here does that, so pay attention. I wrote down the name and what they were doing of everybody that spoke for the last 5 years. I can guarantee you, though, that in that time, that wasn't student success or outcomes. Nearly everybody, or the majority, was people wanted lower taxes. I do remember the first time I was up there on the board and we had 96 people speaking, and one lady, God bless her, said, "We need more money for fine arts." I was for her the whole time. So I hope that and I'll discuss other issues that come up in the future. The last thing I need to do, President Guerin, you're the only person on this board that I know, former congressman, acting Secretary of the Air Force, Secretary of the Army. There's one thing that we will never see eye to eye on, and it's not whether Heights is better than Pascal. We know the answer to that. However, the real issue that divides communities and divides homes and even our nation is this, sir. Go Navy, beat Army.
I hate that I cannot respond to that. Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Our next speaker is Reed Bills.
I am here speaking this evening to express my concerns as the mother of 6 Southwest High School graduates and a district taxpayer. I reviewed the agenda for this meeting, and I'm appalled by its intentional lack of transparency. Under temporary suspension of board policy, there is a list of alphabet letters with no indication of what the letters mean. They sound inconsequential, but allow me to enlighten those who were unable to research the list of policies on the more important items. BDAA, official duties and requirements of officers. BF, board policies, a very long list. It looks to be like all of them. And DC, employment policies. In other words, by this vote, you will suspend all policies that have governed this body in the past with no proposal for replacement policies. Does this mean you can do whatever you want with no guidelines to hold you accountable for your actions? I suggest this is not a vote that will assure Fort Worth ISD stakeholders that you have their interests and those of our students in mind as you continue to govern with no disclosure of your action or statement of rationale justifying them.
Thank you, Ms. Bills. Our next speaker is Carlos Tercios. I beg your pardon if I didn't pronounce your name correctly.
Good evening, school board members and superintendent. Oh, that's weird. My name is Carlos Tercios, and I am the For Liberty and Justice Tarrant County Director. I'm also an executive committee member for the Republican Party for Tarrant County. I want to thank each and every one of you for stepping up to lead our schools during this critical time. The decision to install a new board, a new superintendent was not easy, but it was necessary due to years of struggling performance that we saw over the past several years. Performance, declining attendance that this ISD has faced over a decade. I'm here to encourage and urge the board to do the following, and by far the most important goal that everyone here can agree: focus on student performance. That should be the top goal for this school board. The only way the board will be successful in achieving that is by following Texas laws, not getting involved in culture wars, and remaining in full compliance with Texas laws. This includes laws that ban gender and sexuality alliances, prohibits teachers and faculty from implementing transgender ideology in school environment, and restricting DEI in hiring and activities according to SB 12. I urge and encourage the board not to support DEI, transgenderism, gender ideology, or abortion. These are issues that have divided this school district and caused turmoil in 2021, 2022, and 2023. And last time I checked, the district's past fixation on these issues did not result in academic success whatsoever or strong student attendance. There are examples here locally of leaders taking bold action. Leaders in Tarrant County and Fort Worth have already taken action. The city of Fort Worth, under the leadership of Mayor Matty Parker, voted 7-4 to remove its DEI department last year in a bipartisan vote. And the Tarrant County Commissioners Court has also removed all DEI frameworks as well. Focus on kids, focus on teachers, focus on parental rights. Fix this school district by avoiding distractions that do not help anyone, but instead cause division and harm. If you want to help struggling communities and students who are failing, focus on empowering those communities by promoting the family, fatherhood, marriage, and the church, because every child is precious in the eyes of God, regardless of color, regardless of nationality, regardless of religion, regardless of where they come from. I think everyone here can agree, and I think something that unites this country and this city will be focusing on student performance. And if you do that and deliver results, we will be here to support you every single day. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you for your comment. Our next speaker is Ken Kuhl.
Good evening. So the way I see it, the 10 of you are leading this district now because there was a failure to adequately hold accountable your predecessors for the kinds of opportunities and outcomes we should all want for and owe to every child in Fort Worth ISD. As a Fort Worth ISD parent, I hold myself accountable for that failure. I could have done better, and I'm not pointing fingers anywhere else. So now, as mandated by a 2015 state law, you are here, and we must hold you accountable for that improvement. I'm here this evening to tell you that my advocacy and accountability remains the same. First, urgency in changing the current destiny for our most underserved students. 2, solutions for the lack of equity and opportunities and outcomes across this district. 3, an expectation that you will set smart goals and tie them to TEA's exit criteria from this intervention. And finally, that you will be absolutely and regularly transparent about our progress towards those goals and how we're getting there. I will continue to show up. I will continue to hold you accountable to making decisions based on improving opportunities for all our students, not just my own. I attended governance training with some of you, so I know that you've already embraced those expectations. As a result, I am optimistic that we can accomplish here what has been accomplished elsewhere in the country. It remains my hope that Fort Worth ISD not only catch up to the rest of the state, but that we build something here in Fort Worth ISD that acknowledges that we believe every child can learn. And that puts our district on the map as a place where we have all come together to say that we're willing to do the work and make the hard choices to create a world-class public school system for our kids here in Fort Worth. Please let us know what we can do to help. And I truly believe that our city will show up to support our kids. Thank you all for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Kuhl. Our next speaker is Zach Leonard.
Good evening, Dr. Licata and members of the Board of Managers, and congratulations to all of you who have been appointed to this very important role. My name is Zach Leonard, and I'm most importantly a parent of 3 children in Fort Worth ISD, one at Heights, one at Stripling, and one at North Highmount Elementary. Today I'm addressing you. I'm also on the PTA Council, so I long served in PTA and love my role in the PTA. I'm addressing you tonight, though, as the president of FORT. Families Organizing Resisting Takeover was started last year, and we're a parent advocacy group that mobilized in response to the state intervention of Fort Worth ISD. We're here because our community deserves to be part of decisions about our children's education. We want to be clear. We do not stand in opposition of any good faith efforts to improve our children's outcomes and to strengthen our public school education in our district. Our mission is simple. It's to bring together parents, educators, and community members to protect and advocate for locally provided, accessible education for all students in Fort Worth ISD, and will remain engaged and informed about changes brought about to our district by the TEA and the appointed leadership. We're also going to hold you accountable to transparent communication about your progress. I'll say this, despite not wanting to get into culture wars of any type, I still believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Equity in our public schools. Equity means that every student gets what they need, not just what is evenly distributed. We want to ensure that every student, regardless of background, has what they need to reach their full potential. And we ask that our district actively work to close achievement gaps caused by race, income, and disabilities. We also are advocating for holistic education. What that means is our children, our students are more than test scores. We expect our schools to develop the whole student with intellectual, emotional, social, and creative growth. We want our children to be well-rounded individuals by fostering critical thinking, empathy, and life skills through purpose-driven leadership and learning that creates balanced learners prepared for life's challenges, not just for standardized tests. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Our next speaker is Keith Annis. And the speaker after that, just so you can be ready, Reverend Kristen Clade.
Howdy. My name is Keith Annis. I'm a parent of 2 incredibly successful children who attend Fort Worth ISD. One of them is currently a 7th grader at Daggett Montessori. One of them is currently a junior at I Am Terrell Academy. I am blessed, and they are blessed, to have such amazing schools that are empowering them to learn. I say that recognizing that not every school in the district is that lucky. I also say that in an effort to stall while I open up my speech. So while I continue to stall, I do appreciate you all stepping up and agreeing to serve. I don't think it's going to be much fun for you. I've been to a lot of these meetings with the previous board and board members before that, and board members before that, and board members before that. I have served twice as the PTA legislative chair on the Council of PTAs, and have been active off and on as my schedule could allow with my local PTA at Daggett Montessori. My wife is currently very active at the local PTA. And I speak as part of the organization that my friend Zach just represented. We are members of FORT. We have a mission at FORT, and we have certain goals that we believe you need to be held accountable to. Not because we have any bone to pick with y'all, not because we have any particular agenda, other than making sure that every child in Fort Worth ISD gets the kind of education that we just talked about. We believe in order to make that happen, we need to hold you accountable. You are unaccountable to voters. That's something you have nothing to do with, and we have nothing to do with. But you can be accountable to your actions. So we intend to hold you accountable through transparency, by watching what you do and letting the people know what you are doing, when you are doing it, and how you're doing it. We intend to let the people know what you are doing. We have social media, everyone does. We intend to report out on that. We intend to also support the district in areas where it needs support. We as a community, not just Fort, but all the people here, well, most of the people here, who are actually participants and have students and teachers at Fort Worth ISD. I suspect there are some who haven't actually no say in Fort Worth ISD because they're not actually parents or they're not actually residents of Fort Worth. But those of us who are need to be filled in into the gaps and to volunteer and to work for our students, because y'all can't do it alone. Our teachers can't do it alone. Thank you. I appreciate you, again, you stepping up, and I look forward to seeing you many more times.
Thank you, Mr. Annis. Our next speaker is Reverend Kristen, and I believe the correct pronunciation is Claudia?
Claudia, thank you.
Claudia.
Yes.
And our next speaker will be Marisol Herrera. Thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening, Dr. Lacada, and welcome to Fort Worth, and good evening, members of the Board of Managers. My name's Kristen Claudia, and I am a mom of two in Fort Worth ISD. Winifred here is in kindergarten at Alice Carlson, and she's doing fabulously, and my son is in 3rd grade at the same school. I also attended Fort Worth ISD. I'm a native, and I'm a local Lutheran pastor. Today, I'm addressing you as the Secretary of Fort, and there's just a couple other priorities I wanted to outline, in addition to what my colleagues and friends have already said. One of our big priorities is transparency and accountability. We urge you to intentionally create a culture of open communication and trust among the Board of Managers, superintendent, staff, parents, students, and the wider community. Please welcome our input by creating both formal and informal opportunities for stakeholders to voice concerns, ask questions, and provide feedback, demonstrating that our perspectives are heard and valued. And one of the last things is we are advocating for a return to local control. We advocate for clearly defined exit criteria from the state intervention and for returning Fort Worth ISD back to local elected governance as soon as possible. We are asking for you to publicly define the criteria for returning to local control by the first day of the 2026-2027 school year. That is a specific ask that we have. Our community deserves to know what the goalposts are, and we trust that they won't move. So that this intervention will be effective, we hope it is, and we hope it is temporary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Claudia. Next speaker is Marisol Herrera, And following Ms. Herrera is Sabrina Ball. Welcome, Ms. Herrera.
Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Licata and members of the Board of Managers. Welcome to Fort Worth, for those of you that are not from here. My name is Marisol Herrera, and I am a parent, a PTA leader, and also an employee of the district. Today, I am addressing you as Vice President of Fort, along with my colleagues that just came up here. We want to make sure that we are open with you and that we want to work together with you to make this intervention work and return to local control as quickly as possible. Fort Worth ISD is held together by educators who show up every day for our students, often giving far beyond their time, their energy, and their own resources. I know this firsthand. They have carried this district through years of instability, and they continue to do so with commitment and care. Right now, our educators are not asking for more initiatives. They are asking for something much more fundamental: time, stability, and trust. We urge you to listen to them, to value their expertise, and to formalize their voice in your decision-making. Create a standing advisory group of experienced, high-performing teachers and bring them into the conversation before new initiatives are introduced, not after. If you want real, lasting improvement in Fort Worth ISD, start by trusting the people who are already doing the work and show them that trust in the decisions that you make. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herrera. Our next speaker is Sabrina Ball, and she'll be followed by Drew Brown. Ms. Ball.
Thank you for 3 minutes. A Heights. Thank you, Reed, for reviewing board policy. I've been a Fort Worth ISD parent for nearly 15 years, and friends tell me that you are good people, but so were the people on our elected board, and that didn't mean they made the right decisions. What I've seen so far is not great. You said you don't want to be Houston 2.0, that you value transparency, and that you want to retain excellent teachers and focus on students with the highest needs. Based on this agenda and recent action, you've already broken those commitments. This agenda is the opposite of transparency. As a taxpayer, I should be able to clearly see what you're voting on, including costs and supporting materials. That's not optional. If this continues, we will respond with formal challenges. Major instructional changes are being pushed into classrooms with no transparency and no data. You are implementing AI scripted lessons while trashing curriculum that was working, built by excellent teachers with strong results. These changes were introduced to students without informing parents. I've requested that information and have not received it. If you're focusing on outcomes, your return on investment, why are you spending time and resources on programs that were already succeeding? Advanced courses, on-ramps, schools of choice, while 39 campuses are rated D or F. Where is the data supporting these changes, and what is the cost? If the previous board could not exceed the budget, you shouldn't either. Under Texas Education Code, parents have the right to direct their children's education. That means you're accountable to us, not just the state. I don't want private meetings. I want transparency in public. If you want to retain excellent teachers, respect them. Don't hand them scripted lessons that undermine their expertise. If you're here to serve public school students and families, then act like it. If the state tells you to withhold information from parents, refuse. If the state tells you to make decisions without evidence, refuse. If the state tells you to fix what isn't broken, refuse. That is your duty. And don't make the mistake of the last board. The attacks on this district by mercy culture, AKA for liberty and justice, were not only detrimental to our students, they hurt public education as a whole. They serve themselves. They excuse sexual assault and promote policies that harm communities. It's interesting that Carlos brought up culture wars because he started them. He benefited from the largest DEI initiative in Fort Worth ISD history and is pulling the ladder up behind him. Carlos does not speak for the parents in Fort Worth ISD, so proceed with caution.
Thank you, Ms. Ball. Our next speaker is Drew Brown, and following Mr. Brown will be Keisha Braziel.
President Guerin, you probably don't remember me. We met about 30 years ago in different lifetimes. You're a little grayer. I still look the same. So. I'm here to, my wife will be mad at me because I did not write a speech, so I'm just going to throw some things out. One,
Mr. Brown, could you speak closer to the mic?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I believe that the former board was on the right track and should have been given time. I believe the superintendent had made vast improvements. I'm disappointed in the makeup of this current board. I'm disappointed that the governor chooses Mike Moran, and he's, approved by the Senate, and the governor has spent all his time on vouchers, not on public education. We're starving. That's what's happened to public education in this country, and especially in this state. So I hope you guys are ready to have tough conversations. So I've seen some editorials, that we all should jump on board and be there. But you should listen to the people who don't trust you yet, okay? We have a voice. We need to be heard. So just to throw some things out, right now as the board stands, 3 of you are from 76107, West Side. 1 of you is from 76102 downtown. 1 of you is from 76109, Overton Park. 1's from Berkeley Place, 76110. 1's on the east side near a nice golf club. I don't know where you're from, Jay. I wish I did. I wish you'd expand on your biography on the webpage. I've got 55 seconds. So I hope that I understand how this forum works. I speak to you, you listen. You need to have a town hall. You need to have a frequently asked questions on the webpage. So you represent, all of y'all represent me now. You got a tough job. I just had 1 representative before. So I hope that y'all are successful. The last thing, I'm a little concerned about a statement that you made, sir, which is about guaranteeing that I can almost do a Joe Namath running out of the Orange Bowl for those who remember that. But I can guarantee you, we're going to put everything in place because I've yet to fail, and I'm not going to start now. It kind of sounds like somebody who said, it's all broken, but I'm the only one who can fix it. So you got a tough job, y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Next speaker is Keisha Braziel, and she will be followed by Caroline James. Okay. If she's not present, ask Caroline James to come up, and she'll be followed by Estella Williams. Ms. James.
Good evening. My name is Caroline James. Welcome to Fort Worth ISD. I'm so grateful that you answered the important call of serving our students. They are indeed worthy of your time and attention. I would like to spend some time going over why I think the intervention was needed and the work you have before you, but the fact is we don't have time. We have students waiting, and they don't know how to read. 2 years ago, I stood at that podium and told my story. I pleaded with the superintendent and the school board to do a better job teaching students with dyslexia how to read. I have 3 boys, and 1 of them has dyslexia. Fort Worth ISD failed my son. I moved him to a private school, and he got the help that he needed, but I knew the problem was bigger. I've spoken at 15 school board meetings over the last 2 years, pleading for change. After one such meeting, a school board member said to me, "What do you want, Caroline? You moved your son out of Fort Worth ISD. Why do you keep coming back?" I told them, and I'm telling you, because it matters, because it's important, and because I know we can do better for our kids. Dyslexia is the most common learning difference. We know how to serve students with dyslexia, and the consequences of not serving these students are disastrous both for them, for their families, for our community. I'm encouraged by the changes that Dr. Molinar made. We are screening students for dyslexia in kinder, 1st, and 7th grade. We are training more teachers to become certified academic language therapists to serve those students, and I want that work to continue. There's just no time to waste. I challenge you to find every student in middle school and high school with dyslexia that was missed. My son was not diagnosed until middle school. Don't let that continue to happen. And I encourage each of you to attend a dyslexia simulation. It will change your impressions about dyslexia. I'm glad you're here. Stay focused. Stay focused on teaching all of our children how to read.
Thank you, Ms. James. Our next speaker is Estella Williams, and she'll be followed by Deanna Deardorff. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Fort Worth ISD leadership. Honorable Chair Pete Guerin, and to members of boards of managers, as well as to our superintendent. Good evening. As individuals with a stated aligned vision and collective belief that all students, when properly supported, can achieve at high levels, the urgency is now. It is factual that trust is not given, it is gained, and it does not occur overnight. Trust that will gain not just hearers of what is said, but trust gained by those who witness actions that will create positive change through the successful education of all children. We certainly believe that assessments are needed to determine protocols, systems, and support. As president of the Fort Worth Tarrant County Branch NAACP, we stand ready and we look forward to working with you as mission-driven goals are established to at least bring about an excellent district, as it has been stated, whereby educational success for all students is provided and achieved. We look forward to a Fort Worth ISD celebration, whereby completion of this accomplishment is seen. The question will remain, though, after 3 years, and the time has ceased, expired, what will be in place to continue the success that has been achieved and the sustaining of that success of all our children? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. The next speaker is Ms. Deardorff, and followed by Mark Christensen.
Good evening. My name is Deanna Deardorff. I am a proud parent of 4 current Fort Worth ISD students and 1 recent graduate. I'm here speaking tonight because I'm also on the executive board for the Fort Worth ISD Council of PTAs. And as a council, we wanted to welcome you and thank you. As others have said, I think you have a long road ahead of you, but you do have a lot of support in this room. In Fort Worth ISD, PTAs are the boots on the ground. We are the reading buddies, the math tutors, the field trip chaperones, the career day speakers, and more. We are the volunteers showing up every day in schools across our district because we believe that our community plays a vital role in its success. We represent and work for not only the schools where our own children attend, but every school in Fort Worth ISD. The Fort Worth ISD Council of PTAs recently formally resolved our commitment to student outcomes for all children in Fort Worth ISD. And in this resolution, we are advocating for the following. We support learning environments that are welcoming, safe, and inclusive at every campus. We support our district returning to local control as soon as possible, guarded by SMART goals. We support prioritizing not only high academic achievement, but also social emotional learning targets, stakeholder satisfaction, graduation rates, and college, career, and military readiness targets. We support the full transparency and accountability of Superintendent Licata and Conservator Wiskowski throughout this intervention. We support our district's most vulnerable student populations, including special education, emergent bilingual, and African American students. We want them to receive full and equitable resources and support at all times throughout this intervention. We support measuring teacher and staff satisfaction, as well as student satisfaction, through retention data and engagement surveys to ensure teachers, staff, and students feel supported and valued through this process. And we support the active encouragement of and respect for family and parent engagement. The Fort Worth ISD Council of PTA stands united with families, students, teachers, and staff across every neighborhood in Fort Worth. Our mission is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. We promise to continue our work in all campuses in this district and to advocate for equity, better student outcomes, and a swift return to local governance. We ask you for that same commitment to our students.
Thank you, Ms. Deardorff. Next speaker is Mark Christensen, and Mr. Christensen will be followed by Mr. Bob Willoughby.
Yeah, good evening, and thank you for your volunteering and the journey that you have ahead. I was a PE teacher up in Fairfax County Public Schools. It was a highly rated district with very good scores. Northern Virginia, if you know that, it's kind of like you got the superpower parents of Washington, D.C. commuting from there. As a PE teacher, I had 120 kids come through my door at the gym, and I felt that the classroom management and the discipline that we kept within the school was strong. And I've heard that you, as a TEA, have done similar type support for teachers at the districts that you've done interventions in. I'd like to support that and say that when it comes down into the teaching, that you want to feel supported by your administration, by your parents, by your school board, and I think that we've got a good group here to push that forward. Really, by staying focused on scores and outcomes, that we're going to be staying away from a lot of the other items that can really distract us in the classroom. And so I would support you in staying with that laser focus, as you said, Mr. Guerin, and I would agree with that the test scores and the amount of people reading and why they are not, that's the important items, not necessarily what other side issues might be coming up. Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Mr. Bob Willoughby, and Mr. Willoughby will be followed by Mr. Patrick O'Neill.
10 years ago, I didn't know nothing about my local government, but I was happy I had brown hair. To see y'all up here, it's the first time, I'm going to savor this moment, first time I get to see a whole staff of people I have no animosity against because I don't know you yet. Okay, that's great for a minute. I'm going to say, city council's terrible, the mayor's terrible, all the way down the line. One thing I can say about this, the old school board that was here, 3 things they did, which unlike council. They never walked on me when I talked. I got to talk. I'll give them credit for that. And they also looked like they were interested. Not like Maddie Parker with the eyes wandering around and all that kind of crap, okay? They look interested. I give them credit for that, even if they weren't. And the third thing is, I forgot it for a moment, but it'll come back to me. But my main thing is, number one, if you don't answer questions, we don't have nothing. I don't care, and that's why I like to see local voter education in school. I don't know how many people in this room know that Fort Worth became a home rule city in 1927. I don't know how many know that. They don't teach it in school, I don't think. They don't know how to elect a candidate. First thing, when you're electing a candidate, I'd like for people to learn to teach the act the same way you would hiring someone to work for your company. If a person lies, would you hire them for your company? Maddie Parker's a liar. That's not sarcasm, okay? And that's not slander. Until she takes what she said about me publicly back, she's going to be called a liar until then.
Mr. Willoughby, our rules in this forum, we do not name other people. We do not make personal attacks. So
it's not a personal attack. It's a fact. It's not a it's in the Western Dictionary,
Sir.
liar is a lie, and the reason I'm getting to a point, if you let me connect the dots, I just want to get to a
You
point.
do not mention anybody other than yourself
Okay.
or children, and if you continue to do that, we're going to have to turn your mic off.
Okay, that's what I said. Now, the other school didn't do that. Okay, the other board didn't. I'll give them credit for that. Now, here's what the other board didn't do. They never answer questions. Now, I spent 10 years. I like to rent schools and hold meetings and try to get people to know what's going on and pay for the area and that area and hold schools. I had to fight with principals to get a date. No one answered questions. They didn't like that. That's what I got from the other board. And they never answered a question. Same thing with other people in other departments of the city. They don't answer questions. Until you answer questions, we have nothing. So what I'm asking, if any one of y'all would like to come on my show Sunday night, 7 to 8, local voter education live, you too, I'd like for you to contact me, come on for an hour, take questions from people. I'm not very smart. I'm a tool to do the job, but the people that call in are very smart. I'd love for someone to come on, be transparent, and answer questions. There's too many here for me to say right here now, but to do the show in an hour, we can relax and actually try to learn what's going on. But voter education needs to be put in school. We're at 95% not voting in our local, and that's critical. That's just critical, period. So we need local voter education in our schools because it's just as important as math, English, or anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willoughby. Our next speaker is Patrick O'Neill, and Mr. O'Neill will be followed by David Martinez.
Welcome, new Board of Managers, Superintendent Licata. I speak today on behalf of 4 granddaughters who attend public school in Fort Worth ISD, all of whom attend or have attended De Zavala Elementary. I'm here to speak on their behalf and in behalf of the students wronged by decisions made by your predecessors. I'm not here with an agenda that claims to be anointed by God. I'm here to speak plainly and factually on past mistakes that you have the power to correct without divine permission or deference to boogeymen constructed for the purpose of dividing us, despite words to the contrary. Superintendent Licata, I've watched you perform recent interviews in which you've emphasized performance. Performance is paramount. Positive outcomes is what I've heard today. We're in it for producing solid numbers with our teachers and in our schools. So the specific wrong I wish you would correct is the closing of De Zavala Elementary. De Zavala should be your flagship. It has 5 straight years of an A rating. It's proof that what matters when it comes to learning is not the color of your skin or your income or the God you worship, though it is a student body made up of 80% minority and impoverished students. It's important to note that these accomplishments were made by great teachers and staff supported by engaged students. Its success is not mystical or spiritual in the religious sense. Its success is based on principles of hard work, dedication from the faculty and staff, and from the family and community engagement and support. The support arises from a collective belief that we have a duty to help all of our children succeed. To deny De Zavala and other true community schools the opportunity to flourish is a tragedy. It's a tragedy of the district court, of the districts, and the state's making. It represents the rejection of community in the name of a government agenda. Because if performance truly matters, then the blueprint has always been there, and it's just waiting for the right leader to take up the mantle. So I implore you to take up the mantle of not just De Zavala, but all the schools that are struggling, and invest in them with the time and money that I hear you say you wish to do. I ask you to pick up that mantle right now and right this wrong. And if De Zavala cannot be resurrected, let its success guide your decisions and not some agendas designed by people who do not understand the meaning of public service and the value of true public education. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Next speaker is David Martinez, and Mr. Martinez will be followed by Emily King. Is Mr. Martinez present? Appears he's not. Ask Emily King to please come forward. And Ms. King will be followed by Kathy Brown.
Good evening. I come to this board as a parent of 5 children currently within Fort Worth ISD. I have senior down to kindergarten. I run the full gamut. I stand before you with a hope that under the TEA oversight, we will take an honest look at what is actually happening in our classrooms and what our youngest learners truly need. My child is in kindergarten, 5 years old, and every day they come home with stacks. I wish we didn't just get off spring break. I would show you the stack that she comes home with weekly of worksheets. Not art, not stories about what they built or discovered or learned, worksheets, pages of them. I want to be clear, this is not developmentally appropriate. Research on early childhood development is not ambiguous on this point. Children's ages 4 through 6 learn best through play, through movement, and through meaningful social interaction. This is not a parenting opinion, it is science. And yet, my kindergarten is tested every 3 weeks. Somewhere along the way, we confused testing our children with educating them. Our outcomes have suffered for it. Now, let me tell you what this system is doing to our teachers, because it is just as alarming. The curriculum that has been handed to our educators comes with a stopwatch attached, just like I'm under. The teachers are being watched during walkthroughs, and if they are even a minute off pace from where the scripted curriculum says they should be, they face deductions for teaching. This is criminal. I would invite anyone enforcing that policy to spend one morning managing 22 5-year-olds and help to keep every child engaged, make sure no one is lost, to respond to each child who is struggling or asking a question, and then look the teacher in the eye and penalize them for taking an extra 60 seconds to make sure a child is understanding what is being taught. This is not accountability, this is fear. No one should work under those conditions. This does not produce great teaching. Our teachers went into this profession to connect, to spark curiosity. The result is a classroom culture built on anxiety rather than learning. Along this, we are leaving behind children with dyslexia, which affects 1 in 5 students, 2 of my children specifically. These children need structured literacy in learning, early screening, and trained teachers. Fort Worth's ISD literacy outcomes reflect what happens when we prioritize the appearance of accountability over the reality of learning. We are testing kindergartners. We are handed teachers a script and calling it support. We are sending 5-year-olds home with worksheets and calling it education. This board has an opportunity to reset. I'm asking you to re-examine. I'm asking you not to power through, but to reach every child. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King. The next speaker is Kathy Brown, and she will be followed by Randy Jordan.
Good evening. I feel like a millennial reading from my phone. Forgot my notes. My name is Kathy Neese Brown, and I'm the parent of 2 children, one in Fort Worth ISD at Heights. I'm a doer, a PTA volunteer, a football mom, and more. My other child, if I can be honest, the district failed. She is now at a local private school. So I come with both gratitude and heartbreak, and with deep love for this community. I'm here tonight to simply say, I see each of you, and I value each of you. Much has already been shared about literacy, dyslexia, and what our children need. I stand in alignment with these messages, and I want you to know that your leadership, especially in a season like this, matters. Last year, at the invitation of a longtime friend, I came to learn more and subsequently raise awareness about low literacy rates and how to advocate for stronger dyslexia services. I became a volunteer in support of Literacy Roundup. The volunteers that wear this shirt are worth their weight in gold. I encourage each of you to learn more and to go through a dyslexia simulation. The experience will certainly change your life. The issue resonates with me as I firmly believe that reading is a basic human right. The work is deeply personal, and I ask for your continued focus. To our teachers and administrators, thank you for showing up each day, and for our children. You carry so much, and you are seen, because at the center of all of this are our precious children. So please know you are not alone. I stand alongside each of you, and I am grateful for each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Niece Brown. Next speaker is Randy Jordan, and the speaker that will follow Mr. Jordan is Trinace Dorsey Hollins.
Hello. First of all, I think you're underpaid. We have a problem. Many of our leaders are underpaid, and that causes difficulties. Another story. I'm a Christian. I make no bones about it. By covenant, I'm serious about it. What has that got to do with public education? If you move this building off the foundation, you will destroy it. So what is the foundation of America? I cite a paper by Donald Lutz and Charles Heinemann, 1984, The Relative Influence of European Writers on Late 18th Century American Political Thought. Not religious, political. They isolated 3,154 direct quotes. 1/3 of them came from the Bible. Most of the rest, came from sermons of that day. 9% came from secular literature. This was the foundation of America. The Protestant work ethic, or really the Christian work ethic, is what made America what it is. The Marxists want to divide the wealth. The capitalists say, let's create wealth. That's another issue, too. We look back to the Hunt's Covenant, 1607, the Mayflower Compact. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal, endowed by their Creator. I'm quoting Robert Winthrop now, Speaker of the House, 1847 to 1849. An insightful comment. I wish I had time to read all this stuff. Men, in a word, must necessarily be controlled either by a power within them or a power without them, either by the word of God or by the strong arm of man, either by the Bible or the bayonet. It may do for other countries and other governments to think about the state supporting religion. Here, under our own free institutions, religion must support the state. I'll tell you how to defund the police. Obey the law. In 1962, the Supreme Court said, Almighty God, we acknowledge our dependence on Thee, and we beg Thy blessings on us, our parents, and our teachers, and our country, as to be unconstitutional. All you have to do is look at American culture from 62 forward, 62 back, and see what it's done to this nation. That is the problem. What did the Supreme Court do with that decision? And we have not recovered from it, and we will not recover from it until we undo that.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Next speaker is Trinace Dorsey Hollins, and then she'll be followed by Norma Garcia Lopez.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Licata and Board. I really appreciate the introductions. It means a lot to know who's actually representing our children, and I hope that you seek to know who you are representing too. And also, thank you for allowing a full 3 minutes. I was shocked when they said I was number 26 and had 3 minutes to speak. My name is Trinace Dorsey Hollins, lifelong resident of Fort Worth, mother of 2 beautiful Fort Worth ISD students, a 1st grader and a 10th grader. But I do not stand here today for them alone. As the director of Parent Shield Fort Worth, I represent hundreds of parents and students across the district. I am very pleased to know that we now have our newly appointed board. A lot of hype, there's been a lot of hype, first around the unknown, then around the appointees, and at least we know that that is starting to settle. But for me, I'm ready to see the work, shaping student success. We support this change under the fact that it brings about transparency. I've heard a lot of people today speak on transparency, and that's something that we as a community definitely need. And student outcomes and academic growth for students, especially Fort Worth ISD's most vulnerable students, African Americans, special education, EB learners, our highest need students. These children are going to require some specialized attention and resources to support their needs. With only 1/3 of our students currently reading on grade levels and those numbers looking even worse for kids in my community, we are ready for change. Dr. Molinar has set the foundation. She was extremely transparent and approachable. Our community needs that. We plan to hold you accountable for those same standards. Mr. Licata, I've heard you state, and I quote, "I will be transparent. I will share information on how we're doing." We are here to hold you to that. I believe in our city. I believe in public schools. I believe in our teachers. But most importantly, I believe in our children. They're capable. This is the transition that has to be about improving student outcomes. This change has to be now. So we support change, but please know that we also will be holding you accountable. We want our children to read. Literacy is freedom. That's all we want.
Our next speaker is Norma Garcia Lopez, who will be followed by Roxanne Martinez.
Good evening. I'm here as a Tia mom, PTSA Tia, a community advocate, a Fort Worth ISD volunteer that has spent years supporting our school district. Many of us enter this moment with deep concern. When a democratically elected board is replaced, trust is not automatic. It must be earned, and earning trust requires transparency, accountability, and accessibility from the very beginning. So I want to ask directly, how will you engage with the community you now oversee? With a student population that is 65% Latino, how will you communicate with our families in ways that are culturally respectful, linguistically accessible, and rooted in genuine partnership? How will you stand with our immigrant families? Some of you may not live in the district, some of you may not have children in Fort Worth ISD, and working in the community is not the same as engaging with it. Many families don't know who you are, may have never seen you at our schools, our events, or neighborhood meetings. That matters because words matter, and how you speak about our students and teachers matter even more. We are here because we care, and because we intend to hold you accountable, just as we held our elected trustees accountable. I also want to address a statement made by Dr. Licata. Poverty is not destiny. Zip codes do not dictate students' future. Success is possible. I understand the intention behind those words, but I respectfully disagree with the idea that zip codes don't matter. Zip codes mean a great deal. They determine access to resources, safety, stability, and opportunity. They shape which schools have what funding, which neighborhoods have what services, and which families have the margin to breathe. It is the community, parents, teachers, advocates who fight every day to make sure those underserved zip codes, especially east of I-35, have the same opportunities as the zip codes west of I-35. Poverty is not an excuse, but it is a reality. And ignoring that reality does not help our students. Acknowledging it, it does. Despite this, Fort Worth has incredible students, talented, resilient, and full of potential. But the negative narrative surrounding this district paints them as failures. That narrative is not only inaccurate, it's harmful. So tonight, I ask you, step into our communities, listen before you judge, learn before you decide, and remember that people in this room and the people in our neighborhoods are not obstacles. Thank you.
Thank you for your remark. Our next speaker is Roxanne Martinez, who will be followed by Karen Perry. Ms. Martinez, thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for your commitment to our kids.
Thank you. Good evening. As you may know, up until last Tuesday, I served as Fort Worth ISD Board President. But more importantly, I'm a Fort Worth ISD parent, alum, and a committed member of our community. I want to thank each of you for stepping up into this role and acknowledge the responsibility that you're stepping into. Fort Worth ISD is a district full of dedicated educators, resilient students, and a community that cares deeply about its schools. There has been real progress underway. I welcome you into our work and hope you will build on the progress that we have already set in motion. I would be remiss if I did not speak honestly about where many in our community stand. There is a very real and warranted skepticism about the TEA's intentions and whether this takeover is truly about students. Before and throughout the takeover, we have seen many outside forces pushing an agenda to shape the narrative around our schools. Campaigns such as at grade level or the best school that has put nearly $200,000 into Facebook advertising out to Fort Worth ISD families without clear transparency about their motivations and who's behind the campaign. This is deeply concerning, especially when I found the page's advertising linked directly to a Republican ad agency. I'm also deeply concerned by decisions this evening to waive existing board policies that were put in place to ensure accountability and sound governance. When policies are set aside without clear justification, it raises deep concerns and questions about how decisions are being made impacting our students. As you step into your roles, I hope you will improve the transparency and communication with our families, because transparency has truly been lacking during this process, and our families deserve more. For example, I have yet to receive any communication from the district about what changes we as parents can expect, and the theory of action posted outside this room, I don't believe it has been shared out with parents. I pray that every action you take be grounded in what is best for our students and not influenced by outside agendas. Our students deserve more than just promises. I invite you to take a step into our communities and see firsthand what many of our students face every day: food insecurity, housing crisis, safety concerns around ICE, gun violence in our neighborhoods, before you begin making decisions impacting them. Because our neighborhoods don't look and feel like yours do. Like several folks who have already spoken tonight, I at one time felt that Fort Worth ISD had failed one of my children. However, since I didn't have the funds to simply move them to a private school, I instead decided to become part of the solution, and I became an advocate for all students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Next speaker is Karen Perry, and Ms. Perry will be followed by Donna Collins.
Good evening. I am Karen Perry, a parent of 3 students in 3 Fort Worth ISD schools. We've been part of the district since 2016. Currently, my children attend I Am Terrell, Pascal High School, and the Young Women's Leadership Academy. I also, I've been very involved as a PTA volunteer through the years and have actually served as president of 2 different PTAs in 2 entirely different campuses, Lily B. Clayton Elementary and the Young Men's Leadership Academy on the east side. Tonight, first, I want to say thank you to the Board of Managers for your service. We all know you're volunteers, and it's my understanding that you've already spent many hours in governance training. That said, I have a very specific concern that I bring to you tonight. I noticed that tonight's agenda is just over 1 page, and this is a significant shift from prior meetings. This makes it difficult for the public to understand the context of decisions that you're making. I visited the board's page on the Fort Worth ISD website today, and it says that you are required to post budget and tax information for public review and discussion. Given that the consent agenda for tonight includes 2 budget amendments, a vendor selection, and what appears to be a major purchase approval, this seems especially relevant. I have 3 questions for you. Number 1, where can the public access supporting documentation for these actions? Number 2, going forward, what will the process be for ensuring that agenda items are supported by required documentation and shared with the public in advance? And number 3, I just heard this tonight, but I understand that Board of Managers, your email addresses are not yet on the website. So a question is, how do we communicate with you directly? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Next speaker is Donna Collins, and Ms. Collins will be followed by Amy Super. I may be mispronouncing her name. I apologize if I am, but Ms. Collins.
Thank you, Donna Collins. I am a resident and taxpayer here in Fort Worth, and student success is just as important to me as the parents and teachers, as it is to the parents and teachers in this room. This new Board of Managers is about change. My prayer is that the hand of God will be involved in this change. During our founding era, the Bible was the textbook commonly used. Modern culture has had a hand in the removal from the public education system, the Bibles and the Judeo-Christian principles upon which our country was founded. While this is a loss, I ask that you take Fort Worth ISD back to the basics of the 3 R's plus civics. Leave out the DEI initiatives and the sexualization of students that are distractions. I read that you may be going back to more paper, and I like that idea. I think your goal is to prepare students for success. I hope that means productive members of society that can thrive independently and contribute to our community. Further, I ask, how can a teacher effectively teach reading to a classroom consisting of 3 or more languages? If a student can't read, how can they effectively be productive members of society? If we pass students that can't read or do basic math, how can they be how can they even be a truck driver? I'm a product of Mississippi schools. Mississippi ranked at the bottom in education when I was there, but I did okay. As a state, Mississippi has dramatically improved educational outcomes. In fact, I ask that you search online for the articles on Mississippi's education miracle and literacy miracle. They truly sound like miracles. The bottom line is accountability. Students have to pass proficiency in order to be promoted to the next grade. If they were not proficient, they had an intensive focus on reading and often were held back. There is a great deal of information about how these outcomes were turned around. If we're truly preparing students for success, they must be able to read. This includes no promotion until proficiency is achieved. Also, I think it is important that civics be taught. We need to instill pride in American values by teaching them. As America is about to celebrate her semi-quincentennial this summer, I would like to offer my services to conduct a 1-hour presentation on our Constitution to appropriate grade levels. I'm happy to preview it for any of you that are interested. Thank you for your time, and I wish only the best outcomes for this Board of Managers and Fort Worth ISD. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Our next speaker is Amy Super. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Thank you, Ms. Super, and she'll be followed by Dean Stacy.
Good evening. My husband and I are property tax paying homeowners within Fort Worth ISD's boundaries. The year we moved here was the year our oldest started kindergarten, just a couple of miles away from where I'm standing tonight. Both of our children are graduates of Fort Worth ISD schools and graduates of Texas State University. While I can assure you Fort Worth ISD was not a perfect district back then, I can tell you it was an environment in which we felt our kids were safe, one in which an obvious effort was made to maintain the buildings and properties, one in which qualified, certified educators worked tirelessly to make sure the foundational love of learning we had instilled in them was nourished and encouraged. In all those years, while involved in their own schools, I never attended a board meeting, never felt I had an issue that rose to the occasion that I needed to do so. It wasn't until several years after our last child graduated that I became aware of the rapid decline in the number of students who were unable to read at grade level or perform mathematics at grade level, all while our graduation rate somehow managed to be quite high. The incongruity this fostered in my mind led me to begin researching and eventually regularly attending these board meetings in an effort to advocate for what I considered common sense-based solutions to what was being presented as systemic issues resulting in poor student outcomes. I tried this approach with what often felt like an effort in futility. At some point, this district went from electing our school board in at-large elections to single district representation. It appeared effortless for an elected board member to ignore voices advocating for an agenda that does not align with their own, when only a couple of thousand votes are all you need to get elected individuals who are intended to represent the families of roughly 100,000 students. Such representation gave us majority of board members who had no incentives to listen to myself or others who communicated our concerns and offered possible solutions for consideration. To be certain they each had an agenda, it was clear their agenda was not in the best interest of educating our students by focusing on making sure they had the basics down before they tried to introduce a myriad of programs promoting societal ideology into the learning equation. One should not prioritize painting the interior walls of their home the latest shade of eggshell white when one's house is on fire. This district needed firefighters, strong water pressure, and a strategy to save the structure and the people within it. The proverbial writing was on the wall, became clear to me, and I quit coming. But still tonight, I choose to look forward. Know that our family is invested literally and figuratively in public education. We believe in and support public education. Our grandchildren now live in this district. They're not quite old enough to attend real school, as they put it. Our daughter is a certified Montessori teacher, and our daughter is a former public educator. I came to this building tonight in the hopes that I might hear what our new leadership intends to do to bring changes to the table, and if they'll be responsible to the community and the very people who stand to lose the most if our public schools fail. Please do better. We will be watching. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Dean Stacy, and Mr. Stacy will be followed by Tricia Forsythe.
My name is Dean Stacy. I'm a Fort Worth resident, been here for my whole life. Graduated from Fort Worth. All right. I've worked for the ISD for 30-plus years. I've coached, I've taught, I've driven a bus, I've been an assistant principal, I've been a principal. I was a principal when the test policies came out, and the school I was at was Forest Oak, and we were on low performing. We got off low performing. We had help from the Fort Worth ISD, we had help from TEA, and we got off of the system and back into it. I told you I was there for about 30 years. I've retired. I went to work for the Region 11 part-time doing teachers, observations of teachers and getting them certified. I went to TEA and became a mentor for low-performing schools. I've also worked with a group called Smart Goals. It set up things to motivate students and teachers and produce results. So I've been in for some of your chairs at different times of my life. All right? Forest Oak's special to me. They're my kids. Somebody taught me along the way, take care of your kids. So I've taken care of my kids. I still want my kids to survive and do a good job. They all have different sets of problems, and we have to address them. All right? I've had some scars from some of these things. When I was working for TEA, I've had people telling me they weren't going to supervise. I got to talk into this, or I can talk louder. When I worked for TEA, I had a person that came up to me and told me, "Don't worry about Forest Oak. I want to build my resume. You don't have to worry about me." That's sat in the back of my head now for about 20, 25 years. I've been in Austin when they came in and we were doing our visiting to the campuses and those things. And they changed commissioners. That commissioner said, "I don't like the way you're doing these things. I'm going to drop the whole thing and we're going to start over." I don't have a plan. I'll make one in the meantime. So those things have set in my head. We need a plan. We need to address our students as we should. My clock's not running.
Mr. Stacy, thanks,
All right.
thanks for your remarks. We're going to have to call on the next speaker, but thank you very much for being here.
All right, I'm not through. I'm going to get my 3 minutes, okay? or whatever you give me
You've had your
left.
3 minutes.
I've had 3.
Yes, sir, you have.
I apologize to you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Our next speaker is Tricia Forsyth, and Ms. Forsyth will be followed by Stephen Poole.
Good evening. I'm here as a current parent of a child in this district, one who is not technically reading on
Pardon me,
level.
could you pull the mic closer?
I'm a parent of a child in this district, one who is not currently reading on level. So I feel I can speak fairly on this topic. I care deeply about our students and their ability to succeed, starting with something as fundamental as reading. I reviewed tonight's agenda, and I'm concerned that there is little to no documentation explaining the changes being proposed, especially regarding the removal of existing policies. Transparency matters, and our community deserves to understand what decisions are being made and why. My main concern, however, is how is increasing standardized testing, especially one-size-fits-all testing, going to help our children learn to read? We're asking students to take more assessments, often on computers or iPads, yet many of our children are still struggling with basic literacy skills. The issue isn't that they aren't being tested enough, because they are. It is that they aren't being given enough time and instruction in fundamental reading skills like phonics. Everything feels rushed, pushed forward to meet testing benchmarks without ensuring students actually understand the material, and that has real consequences. By the time the children reach 3rd grade without strong reading skills, it becomes significantly harder to catch up. In many cases, the struggle begins as early as 1st grade, when students can already start forming a negative relationship with reading. If we're truly here for the children, then we need to shift our focus. Less emphasis on excessive testing and more investment in real instruction, more time for foundational skills like phonics, and most importantly, more support in the classrooms. More hands to help the teachers meet the individual needs of their students. Because right now, we're measuring outcomes without fixing the problem. Stop measuring failure and start building readers. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your remarks. Next speaker is Stephen Poole, and Mr. Poole will be followed by Susan Wade.
Good evening, Board of Managers, Mr. Guerin, and Mr. Superintendent. I'm Stephen Poole. I'm the Executive Director of United Educators Association, and tonight I'm here to speak about Action Item F. That's the temporary suspension of locally adopted policies. Two of the policies deal with you all, how you operate your meetings and organize yourself and the agendas that's developed for you. The others are employment policies, things like prohibition of nepotism, encouragement of progressive discipline for at-will employees, fairness for at-will employees, qualification of principals, all very important policies that you plan on temporarily suspending. But it begs the question, why? Why in the very first meeting is the Board of Managers suspending these policies? I'm pleased that there's a lot of nerds in the audience like I am that read those board agendas and all of the backup documentation that has been posted online historically in this district. It allows citizens to see what is the planned business of the board and also an ability to engage proactively with the board around those topics. There is no backup on this agenda. So it's left people asking the question, why? And if we're talking about transparency in this district, getting your leadership off on the right foot, this is the way you can do it. When it gets to this agenda item on suspension of policies, explain the reason why. People are interested, because without that why, it breeds suspicion and rumors run rampant, and that breeds misinformation. And that is not good for this district at this point in time. So again, my ask is, when you get to this agenda item, explain the why behind it, so the engaged citizens, which Fort Worth should be very proud that we have so many engaged citizens, can understand your motives, your vision, and have trust in your leadership of this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Mr. Poole will be followed by Susan Wade, and then after Ms. Wade, our final speaker of the night, Edwina Wilson. Ms. Wade.
Hi.
My name is Susan Wade. I'm a retired Fort Worth ISD employee of 29 years. I started my teaching career at what was Como Montessori, which was closed many years ago. And I ended it, I retired from Daggett Montessori. So I'm here to ask, well, also I have two grandsons in Fort Worth ISD at Rolling Hills Elementary, which is a beautiful school. The building's amazing. If you haven't had a chance to see it, you should. My concern is that the schools who are different, like the Montessori schools or applied learning schools, please be careful not to destroy them. They do a wonderful job of having happy, relaxed, confident students. Just look very closely, please, at what they do and be very careful. Como Montessori at one point was pretty much destroyed by somebody who did not understand Montessori. I also want to say, as far as civics, I volunteer with March to the Polls, and we go into a number of schools. Western Hills High School is one of them now. It's one of my favorite schools. The kids there are amazing. And please, sometimes it's hard to get into the schools because they don't want to give the time. They don't know that if it's okay, even though we went through Fort Worth ISD, the people downtown, to get their permission first. So if you really want them to register and have some information as far as how to vote and why to vote, please urge your schools to allow us to come in and do that. And I want to thank you all for what you do. I know it's hard and you get a lot of feedback that probably isn't so pleasant. There's rumors all over my neighborhood as to what's going to happen. There will be no libraries. There will be no books other than textbooks, et cetera, et cetera. And those are hard to dispel, but you really need to work hard on that. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Before going on to the next agenda item, pardon me, Edwina Wilson, I beg your pardon, ma'am.
Thank you. I want to say good evening to everyone. I would like to address my concerns with the student growth. I've developed a new mindset that our student outcomes, they don't change until the adult behaviors change. If anything will ever change, it starts with taking a good look in the mirror. We all have to be intentional and accountable for every student that enrolls at Fort Worth ISD. Our students cannot achieve student growth without the teachers being present. If teachers don't change their behaviors, then the students won't change their behaviors. We should make a requirement that all of our students who are consistently causing behavior inside of our classrooms have some type of consequences for repeated offenses. The teachers, we need the support from all of our campus administrators to either have the parents. They need to come inside the classrooms. I believe every student can achieve the student growth. And I believe they all can read on grade level. It does not matter of a zip code. It does not matter where we live. We just need resources in all of our schools. We cannot continue to allow the students to disrespect our teachers. I desire to see the district improve our student growth reports. I'm asking to see the reports on how our schools are improving. The community needs to see these reports about the students' reading levels and what are the resources that are consistently being provided to those low-performing schools. These reports will need to show all the schools that are performing below the grade levels. I am ready to do my part as an educator. So let's get all hands on deck, and we have a goal to achieve. I look forward to celebrating our victories. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. I believe we had one of our speakers arrive late. Sir, are you on the list? Oh, yes, Mr. Martinez, please come forward.
My name is David Martinez, lifelong resident of Fort Worth. I appreciate y'all seeing me. I showed up late. I'm sorry. I take care of my sick mother. But I want to address something that's been going on with the media. They said Dr. Licata, I think that's the pronounced name. Sorry. I don't know. Probably don't know. I haven't met y'all yet, but I wanted to talk to y'all about. I appreciate it when I'm telling you, I got Joe Clark vibes when you were saying that. I was like, wow. I remember Lean on Me. And it was like, I was like, man, I remember that movie. It was a good movie. It was about education, how things went bad. And I remember growing up in Fort Worth, at Fort ISD and Pasco High School, where things were very bad during the late 80s with gang problems in the early 90s. And that's one of the reasons why I got involved with this, because my kids, they all went to good schools and things like that, and they got good things, and they had a good father, me. So I was there as a single dad and everything. I was there for all my kids. And so I made sure I was, Daggett Montessori is a great school. I was a dragon dad and everything. I showed up at all the PTAs and helped out, participate, and was involved with all my kids. So what I'm trying to say is there are kids that are being left out, and that's the reason why I got involved with the Carter Park Elementary School and helped out get started the PTAs when I started. Even before they started closing down all the schools, I started noticing that. And then one of the trustees had said that they were going to close down Carter Park, but I saw that was over there, the other schools over there in the east side off of Seminary. That's when they started closing schools, and then Clifford and Davis had moved kids into Carter Park, and I started seeing a trend there. So then I started donating and trying to get involved and help out PTAs and get the parents motivated to help out. And so, but Carter Park has been doing good, and Carter Park is still here, so I'm glad with that. But also, I appreciate Pete Guerin. I'm sorry, is it Jerry or Gary? I don't know. But anyways, I know I'm a retired Department of Defense contractor, and I like to use the STEM programs with federal funding to help the kids out to get STEM programs done, because I know engineering is a big part of what's going on in East Texas, where they're going to have, this is going to be like the Silicon Valley of Texas now. So with all the data centers, all these other AI programs and all that stuff within military contractors, we need to use that federal funding for also the TCC classes, and that way we can move our children and progress them and having certifications and also associate's degrees, and that would help them out like it helped me. And I'm going to tell you something. When I was younger and I went to Pasco, they put me in ESL classes for Spanish. I'm not Mexican. I'm Chiricahua Apache, and I'm Jewish. I don't speak those languages, but I was put in a system where I got treated like that, and then my teacher told me if it was up to her, wouldn't have my people here. So I dealt with that growing up, and then my kids. No, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. That concludes our hearing of registered speakers for the meeting, and I want to thank all of you for joining us and speaking tonight. Several speakers raised the issue about the inadequacy of the agenda. Ms. Bills, Mr. Poole, Ms. Perry, and Ms. Martinez. I'm the final approval on the agenda, and if we made a mistake, it's on me, and it won't happen again. This administration is committed to full transparency, and if anything was missing from that agenda that should have been on that agenda, it's on me. and I apologize. It won't happen again. I'd like to go now to the action agenda items. Our first item is to formally elect a president of this board. Are there any nominations? Mr. Stegall, recognized for a motion.
I nominate Pete Green to serve as board president. Pete Garrett, I'm sorry, Garrett. I apologize. Garrett.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, now we'll move to voting on the nomination. Record shows 7 voting yes, 2 absences. The motion is approved. Thank you, my fellow board members, for your confidence in me. Now we'll move to discussion of action item number 4B, election of board vice president. Are there any nominations for board vice president?
I nominate Courtney Lewis to serve as board vice president.
Ms. George nominates Courtney Lewis to serve as board vice president. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Williams. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll now move to voting on the nomination. The votes are 7 yes, 0 abstains, 0 no. The nomination passes by unanimous vote.
Fellow board members, thank you for your vote of confidence in me. I look forward to serving the Fort Worth community as the board's vice president.
Moving to our next agenda item, 4C, the election of the board secretary. Are there any nominations for board secretary? Mr. Walker, you're recognized for a motion.
I nominate Rosa Maria Verdeja as board secretary.
Do we have a second?
I second that nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll now move to vote on the nomination. The vote is 7 yes, no in abstention, and no noes. The nomination is approved by unanimous vote. Ms. Verdeja.
Thank you to my colleagues for your confidence in me, and I look forward to serving as your board secretary.
We'll now move on to the next agenda item, 4D, which relates to the consideration for approval and ratification of our appointed superintendent, Dr. Pete Licata, as acting superintendent, and vote on the acting superintendent employment and relocation agreement. The board will take action on formally naming Dr. Licata as superintendent of schools and approving his employment contract as superintendent of schools during a board meeting in April. But tonight, we will consider this interim title as acting superintendent and the contract that governs the interim time period. Is there a motion concerning this item?
President Guerin, I move that we approve Dr. Pete Licata as the acting superintendent and approve the acting superintendent employment and relocation agreement.
Do we have a second?
Yes, I second the motion.
Ms. George seconds. Is there any discussion needed? Seeing no discussion, we'll now move to voting. The votes are 6 yes, 0 abstain, and 0 no. The motion passes by unanimous vote. Dr. Licata, thank you for agreeing to serve as superintendent of the Fort Worth ISD. Welcome to Fort Worth. Welcome to Texas. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening, and I first want to start by saying I own some of the agenda. I will not allow him to take full responsibility for that. That starts with transparency, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I want to thank you for your comments. I wrote enough comments, felt like I was back in college, because I needed to make sure who was speaking, what they needed, what they wanted, and their perspectives. I'm proud, honored, and excited to make this community my home. My wife and I are already enjoying this amazing community, and that is from the heart. I want to spend a few moments to reiterate several key points that I've articulated over the past week. I've committed to two absolutes: student-centered. Everything I do, all decisions that I make with my team, moving up to the board to make decisions, will be focused on student achievement. All students. Transparency. I will be having a very open relationship with the media. I think many of you saw that already. We will continue that. And my statement to them is clear. You are the conduit to the community. You are to report not just good news, but bad news or decisive issues that face all of us as we move forward. That is what public servants do. And I will continue to have a great relationship with the media, as I always have. Everything we do in Fort Worth ISD will be centered around our theory of action and the 5 pillars. You will see this everywhere. You will see it printed everywhere. It is in front of you. It was when you came in, but I will shorten it very quickly. Academic performance, excellent academic performance for all students. Student growth is important, but a student growing minimally and never reaching proficiency is not acceptable. We see growth, but growth to me means that they reach their potential and reach grade level proficiency. That is what has caused our gap in our society for students. Won't be acceptable. High quality instruction with a high quality curriculum. We never will hold a student back from advancing forward. We will be offering more and more advanced coursework and let students fly, while making sure we pay attention to the students that need extra attention to get to that proficiency. Not just growth, proficiency is the key. High quality staff. We're going to focus every energy to make sure our funds, our finite resources, public money is devoted to campuses and in the classroom for teachers. That is where learning happens, and we have to make sure that is a focus. College, career, military, for all students to have access. Not a choice for us, but a choice for them. We educate them so they make the choice, not us. And they're prepared for all of those. And we'll streamline our organization to make sure we're focused for schools receiving as much attention and financial assistance, as well as making sure when you walk into an A school in a certain part of town, you know that a school in the other part of town is going to be an A school, and it should look exactly the same. This will be our focus in everything we do, but there is a few more things. We have to rely on a lot of staff members that aren't in the classroom for that child to learn. It first starts with a bus that's on time, clean, safe, and delivered to the school so they are not late. When they arrive, there should be a smiling staff member, and they should have an ability to eat breakfast. A hungry student will not learn. Third, they should have a clean and safe environment to learn in. They cannot be distracted by any of outside factors other than a clean room, clean restrooms, and a safe environment. Fourth, if they are not feeling well and feel sick, there is someone there to help them through their health. And fifth, we need a counselor. If they're not understanding some things that may have happened, we need that student to be able to talk to someone to help them through that. Before they walk into the classroom, a student has to be addressed those 5 times to make sure the teacher has a full and whole student ready to go. So it's not just the teachers, it's everybody involved. 2 more minutes. In the last 6 days, I've visited approximately 15 schools already. Mostly D's and F's, a couple A's, 1 B. In order for me to assess and implement a strong plan, which has not been implemented, I must frame what I see in schools with my team, with the principal. And for those that know that I've been in classrooms, I've spoken to the teachers too on what they need. Today being a perfect example. I will continue to visit schools every day, especially our most underserved populations, to the end of the school. And that is when we will go ahead and start making some adjustments and changes that benefit all students. I also would like to let you know that over the past week, I've spent some time with our Chief Financial Officer. The $43 million deficit that we've encountered when I arrived here last week is nearly erased already, and we'll be looking forward to potentially having a zero budget deficit in the weeks to come, and I will announce that specifically, without touching any of the schools at this time. I'm also working on next year's budget, and not to work in the deficit, but to work to make sure that our focus is paying teachers first. They are the most important person on the campus other than the students. And then comes the administration. We will not blame bottom up for students not being successful. We will work from top, meaning me, down, and work that way. We all should be the best teachers when we walk on campus, and we should be supporting teachers, but we also must pay them and everyone else who's leading some of the most challenging schools, because again, 3% growth is wonderful, but it doesn't mean they're ever going to get to proficiency. We have to work towards proficiency and get rid of the gap. I'm excited. I'm wired. 6 days seems like 24 hours. I sleep a few hours a night, and I feel totally rested when I come in the morning. I've met some incredibly talented people. I've met some incredibly talented teachers that are working incredibly hard. But we have to work the system to make sure that when teachers are working hard, they're working to an objective and a strategy that will make children proficient so they can read to learn. That is our job, to teach them to read and understand math. It's not going to be Pete Licata. It's not going to be us 9. It's got to be everybody, including the parents getting their students ready for school, the bus drivers being there, the nurses, the cafeteria staff, the counselors, our custodial staff, teachers, administration. We have an opportunity here, and we have to take advantage of it, and we will. I thank you. I appreciate you holding me accountable. I wish that all of you do that consistently. I will continue to speak with the media. That is your conduit. And there'll be a superintendent's message on the end of every Friday. And it won't always include the best news. It'll include where we are and what we're doing. That is called transparency. I appreciate your confidence. I absolutely love Fort Worth. And sir, I'm here as long as you are, because you made a difference here, and I want to as well. So thank you. Continue to hold us accountable. Continue to support your children, but do whatever you can to help us get children to proficiency, not growth. Proficiency is the key. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Licata. In my first conversation with Dr. Licata, and we haven't known each other long, it's an arranged marriage. The TEA chose the soup and TEA chose the board. But the first thing he said to me was transparency. And I said back, radical transparency. That's how any agency of government should operate, radical transparency. And if you ever catch us in anything other than that, I want you to hold us accountable. I want you to hold us accountable. I want this administration to be known for 2 things: student outcomes and radical transparency. Thank you, Dr. Licata, for joining us, and we're looking forward to working with you. Okay. The next agenda item is 4E. It relates to the filing of an application to waive the superintendent certification requirements with the Texas Education Agency's Commissioner of Education. Dr. Licata most recently served as the superintendent of the Broward County School District in Florida, the 6th largest school district in the nation, serving over 250,000 students. Dr. Licata has also served in numerous educational leadership and teaching roles in his 30-year career. For purposes of clarification, the waiver we are seeking is a temporary waiver for up to 3 years, but requires Dr. Licata to obtain the Texas Superintendent certification before the waiver expires. Is there further discussion of this matter? If there is none, do we have a motion concerning this item?
I move that the board submit an application to waive the superintendent certification requirement with the TEA Commissioner of Education.
Is there a second for Mr. Williams's motion?
I second the motion.
Mr. Stigall seconds the motion. For purposes of clarification, the waiver we are seeking is a temporary waiver for up to 3 years, but requires Dr. Licata to obtain the Texas Superintendent certification before the waiver expires. Is there any further discussion? We will now move to voting. We have 7 yeses, 0 abstentions, and 0 noes. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, members of the board. Agenda item 4F. This next agenda item relates to the temporary suspension of local board policies, BDAA, BE, BF, DC, DCD, DK, and DP. Suspending these policies will allow the board and superintendent an opportunity to review meeting dates and times and hiring practices. We are requesting that they be suspended until the board can move more fully to evaluate our local policies. This would be a temporary suspension, and the board will review and make determinations on the policies in the near future. Let me say that these board policies are available, but it's apparent to me that we did not make them easily available to those who sought to find them on the agenda, and that won't happen again. But they are a matter of public record, accessible to the public. But transparency, we're not going to let that happen again. The suspension does not apply to any legal board policies or any requirements imposed by state or federal law. Any local policy provisions that are required by state or federal law, such as any local policy that affects due process rights, contract employees' rights, reduction in force procedures, basis for contract non-renewals, government procurement requirements, or student discipline procedures. To the extent necessary to ensure continuity of operations, the superintendent is authorized to rely on previously adopted local board policies as administrative regulations unless and until superseded by law or board action. This suspension shall remain in effect until the board takes action to adopt revised local board policies. Is there a motion concerning this item?
I move the board to suspend the following local board policies effective immediately in order to allow for a comprehensive review and revision of such policies to promote district effectiveness and efficiency. Local board policy BDAA, BE, BF, DC, DCD, DK, and DP.
Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President, could we have our board counsel elaborate on the employment protections that will be preserved under both state and federal law should these local policies be temporarily suspended?
Ms. Berdea, thank you for raising that issue. And Ms. Berdea and I met with the legal counsel, the board's legal counsel, and where is she? Ms. Rincon, could you, I don't know if you have a microphone there, but could you please speak to the issue that Ms. Berdea raised and discuss the protections that remain in place under local, state, and federal law?
Superintendent Licata. The temporary suspension is limited in scope and does not affect any requirements that are grounded in state and federal law. In practical terms, the suspension allows the district flexibility with certain discretionary local policy provisions that are not legally mandated so that the administration can operate more efficiently during this period. It does not remove safeguards, change legal standards, or impact any rights afforded to employees, students, or the community under applicable law.
Thank you, Ms. Rincon. Are there any other questions from the board members?
Yes, President Guerin. Council, can you also elaborate on local policy DC that relates to nepotism?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Along with applicable state and federal legal requirements, so DC does have a provision with regard to nepotism and hiring of immediate family as defined in policy. Those provisions are actually found in another board policy DBE local, and it is entitled Employment Requirements and Restrictions, Nepotism. That policy remains in effect and is not one of the policies that is being considered for temporary suspension.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion from board members? Hearing none, I'll now ask if we have a motion to approve this resolution. To second the motion, I beg your pardon, of Ms. Verdejas.
I second the motion, President
Okay.
Guerin.
All right, no further discussion. All in favor, please vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. The motion passes, 7 yeses, 0 abstentions, and 0 noes. We now move to the consent agenda items. We have the Board of Education meeting minutes from February 10 and February 24. Approve a budget amendment for a period ending February 28, 2026. Approve the 2025-26 budget amendment for School Action Fund for Neighborhood Pre-K. Approve 2026 Texas Success Initiative Assessment 2.0 testing units. Approve delegation of authority to select vendor for E-rate cable fiber upgrades for elementary campuses. And approve purchase of fleet replacement for district operations. Colleagues, the items on the consent agenda that district staff is recommending for approval this evening are mission-critical items that cannot wait until the board's next meeting in April. Dr. Licata, can you please speak briefly to the consent agenda?
At this time, I'd like to call on Kelly to go ahead and reinforce the purchase, since this echoed from the previous board, and we are extending this because they are needed and good cause at this time.
Any of the board members have any questions or any further discussion? Thank you, Dr. Licata. Is there a motion related to the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second from Ms. George. Is there any further discussion? Now we will move to voting. All in favor, please vote yes. And opposed, vote no. We have 7 yeses, 0 abstentions, and no votes. The motion passes by a unanimous vote. There are no more items on the agenda for tonight's meeting. I'd like to close by thanking everyone for being here. Particularly want to thank the speakers. We know a lot of work went into preparing your presentations tonight. We all learned from you. We hope to see you back. We hope to see you here, sharing your ideas, sharing your insight, and holding us accountable. Thank you to the Fort Worth ISD staff for your professionalism during this time of transition. It has not been easy. Been a whole lot to get done in a very short period of time, and I want to thank all the members of the staff who've done such an excellent job. I went well above and beyond the call of duty to get all of this done and make this work for our kids. That's what our focus, all the staff, everyone on this board, and I know everyone in this room, we're focused on the kids first. As there is no further business and we have no items for closed discussion this evening, with the time being, well, 7:38, this meeting is adjourned.